I'd like to call this meeting of the Southern Berkshire Regional School District School Committee meeting 1700 to order. First on the agenda, I would like to have a quick motion to place number 13, which is our second public comment, and put that after subcommittee reports. And just so it's just flip-flopping number 13 and number 14.
Second.
Okay, great. So Bonnie and Kim, any discussion? Roll call vote. Bonnie?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Art?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
And Nancy?
So, let us see me.
Nancy, you okay? We're flip-flopping number 13 and 14 on the agenda. Thank you. And Julie, yes, that's unanimous. Thank you. Standing reports. We do not have school committee minutes in our packet, so we'll pass over that. Check on, I don't see correspondence, but it's no correspondence. I know we will not have student representative report or student spotlight tonight. So next is public comment. If you'd please approach the microphone and identify yourself, please.
Good evening. My name is Kevin Fish, and as you know, I'm a parent in the community. I want to begin by saying how much I appreciated Julie's opening remarks at the last meeting. Her reminder that this committee is here to govern in the best interest of students and to help foster a culture of kindness, safety, and accountability was exactly the right message for this moment. Those comments reflected my own experience working with Julie on several issues, and I'm heartened that she is now serving as chair. I also have had the opportunity to work with several other members of this committee and have personally seen their commitment to the broader good of the schools. Superintendent Ricca has been serving our school committee for the past 5 months, and during that time, he has brought a noticeable increase in morale. Teachers, staff, and families have felt the difference, and I know he is genuinely appreciated by many people throughout Southern Berkshire. While the committee may not have been united in offering him the permanent role, we now need to set aside those differences and move forward in support of the work ahead. I also recognize that the committee is operating in a very difficult environment, and that these are not easy, a difficult budget environment, and that these are not easy decisions. But moments like this call for people to pull together, not apart. I hope the committee will focus not only on identifying problems, but on working collaboratively to find solutions. When there's expertise in this room, I hope it will be used constructively and in support of the work ahead. I have also offered my experience in budgeting, revenue tracking, and reporting gained through many years of working with large national and international nonprofits, and I remain willing to help in any way that would be useful. Students, teachers, staff, parents, and the broader community are all watching. They are watching how this committee works through difficult issues, how it supports school leadership, and whether it can come together in a spirit of professionalism and shared purpose. I urge you to continue moving forward in a way that reflects the leadership expected from elected officials, and above all, keeps students at the center of every decision. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there other public comment tonight? And there is 2 public comment sections, by the way.
Amy Murray, 95 Salisbury Road. Thank you for adding that second public comment. That's something that I requested at the last meeting. I'm just going to be looking for some clarification as the budget, as I see it later on the agenda. Attending last week's meeting, and we had the 2 proposals. This morning's 10 o'clock meeting, and I'm looking at these 2 proposals. I'm just looking for clarifications when we get there on details on which one, as they're 2 different packets with multiple different numbers in terms of assessments that we're talking about. And at the second public meeting, depending on which one that is, I probably have comments. The other thing I'm actually requesting, which I know you're not allowed to comment back on, is the review and approval of the academic calendar. I know that based on the fact that we've been in kind of budget mode and be getting documents late. We did put to our members, not that I'm speaking on behalf of the association, but I am a member, asking for opinions and comments, and we have not had sufficient time to get that back from our members. And there was also an error in option 2, so I don't really feel you should vote on it. There's only 20 days in September in that option 2 calendar, not 21, which would automatically place our last day of that option in the next week. So I just think that given the fact that budget kind of was the major priority, if that could get put off, I don't think that there's any harm in waiting another week, as we had to update this year's calendar multiple times. So I would just request a little bit more time to review that and make sure that we don't have to change it, and don't push for a vote on that tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. And when I asked for the agenda adjustment about 13 and 14, I could have commented, we're passing on Part B. We're not going to be doing that tonight because we know it's not quite ready to come forward. So thank you. Any other public comment? Okay. Then we will continue on. Business manager report. I didn't see anything in the packet, so I don't think we don't have a warrant. I'm not aware of grants or gifts or any transfers. Chairman's report. Simply, it is a focus on the budget. You know, that will be the major point of deliberation tonight. I will direct the school committee members, though, to take a look in your packet in the blue folder. It's not on the agenda necessarily, but Michelle updated the subcommittee list as I think we wanted. And there's still a few questions. We're not going to go over that now, but you can let me know. There are still a couple of committees with 5 people on them, and as we figured out today, we can't have 5 because we only have 9 voting members, so 5 is a quorum of the full school committee. And until we're able to fill our vacancy, we can't have committees with 5. At finance, I asked Miguel if he would stand back as alternate, which applies to buildings and grounds. Personnel and negotiations has 5. So I would 5 school committee plus our town rep. And so perhaps folks can look at that. You can let me know if you would like to be an alternate or step back from that. And then the superintendent evaluation, I'm going to step back and I will attend as an ex officio non-voting member. So then the other 4 members can be the working members of that superintendent evaluation. And that will clean that up. So you can reach out to me and let me know of any changes, or I'll reach out to the committee members altogether and say, what do you think? But it's not something we need to worry about tonight. I just wanted to point that out. Superintendent's report. Budget, yes, okay. Curriculum and instruction. Sarah.
So we've been working on the budget, but today we did a district-wide MCAS training for educators who will be supervising that. That's required by the Department of Education. And Thursday we have a half a day. Our educators will be continuing in their pathways. We will be doing MCAS training for our ESPs. We have some leadership PD on that day as well.
Great, thank you, Sarah. And I know our Director of Student Services is not here. I don't believe there's an update from that department.
No, and I just do want to say publicly all of our thoughts, and if you are so inclined, prayers are with Sandy Hubbard and her family as she's on medical leave. Dr. John Bruno, who's sitting behind us, as I informed everybody, is our acting director of student support services. All of our services will continue on. We will continue to honor all IDPs. And if there are any questions for anybody who's out there, please direct them to John, and he's going to make sure that they're handled appropriately. So, yeah, that's all we got.
Okay, thank you, and thanks, Josh. Okay, new business. We are looking to review, discuss, deliberate, and then hopefully adopt FY27 operating, transportation, and capital budgets. And Michelle has kindly given us language for when we get to that motion. However, we do have, the various packets in front of us. We've had finance last week, and this morning we had public hearing. We've heard from a lot of different people. And one thing, as the school committee deliberates, I really would like to hear from each and every member so that everybody gets equitable airtime, whether you're on Zoom or you're in person. And Amy's going to try to help me with that so that we don't, have one person speaking multiple times before we've heard from other people. That's actually a best practice that we've seen in several of the handbooks that we've reviewed, and it would be good for us to do that to make sure we're hearing from everyone. So I don't know if there is someone who would like to discuss, or Dr. Ricca, would you like to make a statement to open this conversation, or what shall we do?
So as I shared an idea at the Finance Committee meeting this morning, I've been ruminating about it throughout the rest of the day. I think it would be helpful to the leadership team, and then certainly to open architects, if this body could give us a goal for assessments in order to prepare a budget that we feel would be acceptable, palatable, reasonable, whatever word you want to fill in there, for the towns to consider. I would also offer, just an offer, obviously, I trust the will of this body, that we do not ask towns to delay, that we make a decision tonight, so that the towns can plan appropriately. Selfishly, I think it's important that for the first go-round, we are doing this as the calendar and warrants and laws dictate, despite the challenges that have got us here. We are here. We've got Stephen Covey. We've got the right people on the bus. I'm really proud of the work we've been doing with Open Architects. I'm incredibly proud of the team that's here, not all of whom are represented. I'm incredibly grateful for the support of this school committee, for the support of this community. So those are my offerings for tonight. None are requests, none are requirements. Simply as I was reflecting after today's Finance Committee meeting, it would be most helpful if we had something to aim for in terms of the assessments. And I leave it to the wisdom of this group to determine what that is and point us in that direction going forward. Thank you.
That. Art?
So, I've been thinking about this a lot. So, I'd like to make a motion that we take TMS, Open Architects, Mr. Ricca, Beth, and, who's the lawyer? Josh.
You know, it's
Put them all together. So, because we've talked about the numbers, we believe everybody's different with numbers across the board. I think with all those brains in the room and everybody working together, I think we could end all this and get the right numbers on the table. So I'm making a motion that we move in that direction.
I would like to second that.
Okay. Motion has been made and seconded by Art, seconded by Kim, that we bring TMS, Architects, Patrick Gabudo, our former superintendent, our new superintendent, Brian Ricca, together to sort through budget concerns. I might like to add the school committee finance committee to that, if you would be open to
So
that.
amended.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'd like to speak.
Sure, Art, yeah,
I mean-
now discussion, please.
It just, I believe we're so disorganized about all the numbers. And I think if everybody was in the same room with everybody having the same thoughts, they could explain TMS, everybody could explain how certain things got to certain points. And I just think at the end of the day, hopefully we'd be in a far better place.
Other people, Bonnie?
Kelly, do you want to put a date by which that has to happen? Because it may be, the reason I bring it up, it may be that we get no's from a couple of people, and
I think we need to do it as soon as possible.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a little concerned about availability of different people, but okay.
that's what-
Concerned about date. Kim, you had a thought?
Well, I think a good foundation for a 27 budget is to understand where 26 ended. After we closed out 25, what was carried over? Because right now, the current budget has no offsets on it. So we're through the roof, and we're being asked to put a very tall roof at an 18% with not all the information there. And we're being asked that something comes out of here, translated in a totally different way than it's been done for 8 years, and put into a different ways. And everybody knows in a conversation, things can get lost in a translation. And I think when you sit there and you have the people who ended, the person who budgeted, the new people who are taking up the reins, it would have a much smoother process. Because it's very hard for me to believe we go from between 2 and 3%, and roughly $800,000, which is really high, the 900, because we had other things in it. But usually a $400,000 to $500,000, $600,000 additional assessment each year to 2.8 if you're bodies.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. But to a 2.8, we need some clarity on a lot of things.
Yeah. I will say this afternoon, after a nap to recoup my voice with laryngitis, I did spend time on our website, and I did find a document posted, and I believe it was closeout of FY25, FY26, and it does show offsets, I think, that were planned. Now, whether that came to fruition, that was a document that was there. And I know Open Architects has a document with the planned offsets that are there. I saw that on Friday. I don't have it, but I do know that that is there. I think that the concept is very good, and to be able to get information, I just don't know if our timeline is going to allow us to get who we need in the timely fashion to do that with the work. It doesn't mean we can't try. I'm just saying, depending on what we decide to vote or what we decide to do tonight, then, we'll just have to see where that will go. Okay, so Amy?
I think that at this point in the game, it's March 17th, and we have to have an answer to our towns. I don't know that. I feel like there has been September, October, November, December, January, and February to have gotten everyone in the same room and gotten our answers. And the fact that that hasn't happened already, I'm not sure that it will happen, given an extension, which then would put all 5 towns in a different predicament for them to solve. So, and given the fact that we haven't even heard from Beth, who's been contracted in the last couple of weeks to answer the questions that have been given to her most recently. So I think that ship has sailed, and I think that tonight we really need to get to an answer in order to, so that we don't put 5 towns on pause.
Okay. Nancy?
A couple of questions.
And please speak up, Nancy.
Is that better?
I think so. Audience will tell us.
Okay.
That's better.
That's
That's
better.
better right there.
Yeah, yell at your computer.
A question, 2 questions coming up. If we pass, if we agree to pass, say, the, as for broad recommendations of the option 1, the towns have the option to turn that budget down, but we'll then have a time frame to finish basically what is it to the end of the budget year, June 30th or something like that. Is that correct? That will then have more time to say down. Is that correct?
Well, I mean, we can adopt whatever we adopt. Then, of course,
If that's something to consider, that gives us more time to do the actual finance.
well, there's 2 stops there, right? Because the first one would be that we have to get assessments to the towns, I believe it's by April 30th. So we have between now and April 30th to adjust down. And then, of course, if the towns do vote the budget down, then that will lead us to needing special town meetings. And if we don't have a budget approved by 4 of the 5 towns before June 30th, that means we would go into a 1/12 budget of the previous year per DESI regulations. So the district's been there before, but boy, it's been a really, 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 really long time since we had to do that. And, you know, if we don't have to, that would be great, but there is that to be said as well. Absolutely. Before Kim speaks again,
I think she had more questions.
oh, did you have more questions, Nancy, or was that it?
That's
Okay, so I just want to check with Jim, Carl, and Miguel and see if you have any comments before I have Kim speak again.
Yeah, I'll go as pitch off.
I just want to hear from everybody, I really do.
Sure. Yeah, I kind of agree with Amy that it's, to get everyone together at this point is kind of a little bit late. I feel like, I agree, I feel like why haven't we been doing that this whole course for the last 2 months? But if the most paramount concern is to get the towns their numbers in a timely manner, then I think we have to proceed with option 1. And I think we have to just keep in mind for the next year, one of the problems that brought us here is a lack of funding and a lack of clarity around inform around budget process. Like, I think we need to focus on those, really focus on those for next year, so we're not in the same pickle as we are this year.
Okay, thank you, Miguel. Carl, I see your hand up.
Yeah. I have a few questions and then a comment. What is the amount that is budgeted for fiscal 27 for the Egremont Child Care Center?
Oh, gosh. I don't think we have that broken out, Carl. I can certainly get that for you, but I don't think we do not have the budget broken out by building.
How many students are there?
12?
No,
Ish.
well, let's see. I knew there were going to be some numbers. Egremont, there are 11 right now.
I was
11,
within
12,
ballpark,
yeah.
Right.
There are 12.
And how many of those are in district?
We don't,
Residents in district.
we don't have that information in front of us.
We've heard those questions.
How come we don't? I mean, we should know that we are getting choice money. Yeah, we are, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Why don't we have that number?
Well, we just don't have it in front of us at this moment, Carl. We do need.
But we know. I mean, it's a number that can be identified. Correct?
We don't have it in front of us right now, Carl. I'm not prepared to answer that question because I was not.
I understand that.
Yep.
I understand that, and I'm not faulting you.
I know you're not.
Necessarily.
I know.
I'm not faulting anybody for not having it. But it is a number that's not sustainable, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to. I mean, I know this sounds like beating a dead horse, but sometimes I do that. A little over 100 years ago, at the turn of the 20th century, there were over 100,000 one-room schoolhouses in the United States. 100,000. There are now, depending on how you count and what constitutes a one-room schoolhouse, there are now about 9. Not 900, not 9,000. From over 100,000 to 9. Now, there's a reason for that, isn't there? That is the overwhelming majority, 99-point-something% of communities, school districts, and the like, have determined that whatever the benefits are, in fact, if there are any, of small one-room schoolhouses, is outweighed by the cost of maintaining them. Now, we have considered this issue on a number of occasions, and I have incurred the displeasure of a vociferous part of the community for urging a closer look at practicality and over sentimentality with respect to the Egremont, which I choose to call the Egremont Child Care Center. And I've never received, and I don't think the committee, and I don't think the majority, anywhere near the majority of the people who pay for this school system have had satisfactory answer to why we continue to maintain it. And if it's sentimentality, we really, and I fully believe it, and I always believe that that was the case. And that war story. Oh, I went to the Egremont school and I received an excellent education. And my answer to that is compared to what? But I think we have to have those numbers because I know from that's a question that the finance committee of my town has raised. Alfred had two one-room schoolhouses, and now has one of them is his town offices, and it's a wonderful building and facility, and it serves the community very well. And I'd just like to know why there are apparently at least no public voices, and no voices within the school administration or the school committee that have raised this issue.
Okay, thank you very much, Carl.
I just got, thank you to Mr. Etzel.
Oh, thank you.
2 of our current students are choicing at South Egremont. 2.
Okay, so Carl, did you hear that okay? 2 of the 9, or 2 of the 11, 2 of the 11 are choice in Egremont.
Okay, that's a greater, that I have to say that's a greater, a lower percentage of choice in historically than has been in the past.
Yeah.
It's been close to 50%.
It
The
is?
number is fairly steady. The number has been as high as in the last 10 years. I think as high as 14 or 15. And this is, I think, the lowest number, the fewest number of students that have been to that school, but the highest percentage among those students of those who are within the district.
This is great.
I would also
Thank
want to
you.
point out that we don't get money for them because it is a pre-K.
Right.
We only get choice money when it is K through.
She's great.
So it's not a school choice circumstance.
Oh, right.
Which led us further strength, I think, to my argument that we are giving those two a free education, and I put education in air quotes, but people will disagree with me on that, but they won't disagree with me on the numbers.
Right.
We are letting people from Berkshire Hills
Sort of off topic.
Yeah, yeah.
those two, we're giving them a free ride.
Carl, thank you for your comment. I just wanted to double check before I move back over to Kim. Did you have a comment on Art's motion? And Jim did have his hand up a minute ago too. Did you have about the motion of trying to get everybody together at this moment? Did you have any comment on that particular piece?
Yeah, I'd like, yes, I do. I'm not opposed to getting everybody together, but what does that mean? Can that be translated into something practical that we can know what's happening? Where, when, who's going to get together? When is that going to happen?
Right.
What is the goal of that? I mean, I understand that it's kind of an aspirational goal, but what can happen at that meeting? that hasn't happened already. Before that,
Okay.
it's happened already.
Okay, very good, thank you. To Kim, and then I'll check back with Jim.
So for me, I would like to see that happen because we've never really had a clear start with 26. And I've received 3 reports and on-track budgeting for 26, given from OA that the roll forward, the, where we ended, where we started, because there seems to be a lot of murkiness. We don't know circuit breaker, school choice, all those numbers, our grants, everything. None of that is included in this budget whatsoever that we can see. I cannot see a single offset. We have $1.1 million sitting there in E&D waiting to be certified. So yet, it's a guessing game. So,
I guess as a new chair, I'm kind of wondering why the former chair and vice chair didn't do that many, many months ago, but I'm going to leave it at that. Let me go to Jim and then Art. I know your hand is up. Oh, are you? I'm sorry. Are you done, Kim?
secondly, I personally, and this is probably going to make me be a very bad person in everybody's eyes, would rather put forward option 2. Because we have to be fiscally responsible to our towns between both options, but it also gives us incentive to work harder so that there is no program cuts, there is no employee cuts, there is no activities bus cuts, but it also gives us a fallback with our towns that said, you usually work harder and do better when there's so much things on the line. Where option 18% assessment says, okay, I just have to hit 17 or 16 or 15.
That's probably not okay. Okay.
No, but that's my thing.
Okay.
People are motivated by goals.
Okay. All right.
I personally wouldn't vote for either one on Monterey's floor, but
Yeah. Jim, I know you had your hand up.
Oh, thank you for the order to you.
I did see it, and it went off, and Kim had her hand up before I saw your hand. So,
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. I'm not a financial person, but what I'm trying to say at this point, I lost you at this debate. And still here?
yes, we're here. We see you.
Okay. Is that it seems like to me, like there were difficulties with the financial management of the school district. Not the least of that is because we have 5 families who weren't always in contact with the finance committees of the 5 towns. And I think like the suggestion that you've made to kind of put together what we can and go forward is you do a really good job with rescheduling this, of revising our budgeting process is the right way to go. I think that continuing to argue at this game leaves us in this limbo, which is not good. We have teachers who need head checks, we have kids who need school. We need to get on with our business, and then, after that is done, I would certainly like to see a better budgeting process put together. Yeah, right.
Okay. Thank you, Jim. Is there any other discussion? Because we do have this motion on the floor.
So
Art?
I don't care even if it's before April 30th. I just think it needs to happen, that's all. Whether it happens before that or not, I just think it would behoove us to go through that process. If the committee doesn't want to, then the committee doesn't want to.
I don't know. This chairman's just a little frustrated that it hasn't happened 3
Yeah,
or 4
I know.
months ago. That's all.
Matt?
Nancy?
They're just asking to make sure that they'll get she thinks what if you're not speaking to but also there's been a request that people we say what their names are because I guess we have at least one person who's on the cell phone listening and can't see us. so they don't where it and.
Oh, you mean, to identify on Zoom? Is that what you're making reference to?
But yep, that's in the chat. And if you don't like chats coming in, then they should we there's hands check box against.
Oh, okay. Are you on that, Chris? Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Could we ask TJ what his thoughts are to weigh in on this?
Yeah, absolutely. TJ, you've heard some of the discussions so far. Would you like to weigh in on this?
Yeah, so I actually, Madam Chair, I'd like just to kind of provide a little bit of a perspective of just kind of how we got here. That having two options is not ideal. To protect, I said.
TJ, could you just speak up towards your microphone a little bit? We've got a lot of people in the room.
Yeah, so I'll try to yell. Yeah, so this is an ideal situation. We all recognize the
Yes.
Yeah, better.
So yeah, we got in there in December. We started from scratch. Didn't really have a lot of information, so we went into end petitions. We got system markers, and we started to build the budget based on internal gains. And so I know the time frame is a little tight for Southern Berkshire to get the votes and meetings done in the time that makes sense in town meeting. Recognize that, so we were kind of up against it as we were trying to figure this out. The governor's budget came out late January, and we immediately went to work and put in all the new revenue numbers from cherry sheet and other areas. We built up a budget. We moved money into the appropriate buckets, if you will, to try to make sure that the sets, from the data perspective, controlled for different funding sources. They have to be there. 60% came one, went down 15% potentially. We talked about regional transportation, like all these little things play, which created this moment of and oh no. And I can remember the conversation with the superintendent directly. And I was like, hey, this doesn't look good. Like, and Brian actually saw it, and then on it writing, he saw calls me via this fight. That is this. And so we did a deep dive. We got we pulled it all out our train. We got it's like barbecue treatments as it leads to that we got that all in it. And he just picked up a situation there. There's such a wake so by the time it's good. And they've been collecting decisions, two options. Like this, but totally buys time to get my final very let's give us a goal or let us go to work. This is an incentive with a time. This is an inner process. We are doing a deep dive. We are looking to get to your point, looking to get all the sense. Next priority after tonight's meeting is the E&D this week, and that's always OST. Let's get that square. So we know what the number is like. If it's 7,000, whatever the number may be, we know that's an option. So we are actively working, fully engaged, trying to break it down. We're trying to make sure we let him play. Put this was 6 into black and making sure all this is in now. Mind you, this has been since December. Just trying to get all the definition together. But gladly work with Beth and reach out to her and see what she could for them. It's coaching. And she'll help us and being something not the same. But you go and do all your grants. We're doing it all kinds of privilege. We're we're working in March 7th. That both naturally works. You take it and all kinds of promotion and get offsetting to different funding sources, whether it's circuit breakers, whether it's school choice, whether it's grants, education, other college. This new thing, all that. We'll report back. I just want to provide a context of kind of where we started and where we are. And we know this is less than ideal.
It is less than ideal. TJ, just want a quick question. I sent an email, it was really late this afternoon, probably around a little before 5, where I found a document on our website that looked like FY25 with Plan 26 with offsets. I don't know if you've seen that yet, because that's how late.
I'm sure I saw it. I started to look at that. I read some.
Yeah, no, I didn't digest it either. I scrolled and I said, oh, maybe this will be helpful. Look what I just found. So I just sent it, and maybe it's information you already have. I don't know.
We'll look at it. So I did. That could use that. We could glean some information with that. Thank you, Dave.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, thank you for that context.
and if the committee wants, I can reach out to Beth directly and ask her to step in and give us some information. I use type with the already have. I want to be sure I start to us.
Yeah, I think that already happened. If you'd like to follow up with her, that would be fine. Maybe look at that document that I sent you that I found, and maybe that would pose some new questions for her. I believe she still has a few days left in the contract through June 30th. So we could see if she can offer any insights on that. Okay, so we still have our motion on the floor. Is there any other comment?
Miguel.
Oh, Miguel's hand's up again. Thank you.
Yeah, so just, it's helping me to clarify some things. So if we were to go ahead and put budget option 1 through, the towns could reject it, and then we have until April 30th to clarify with more information. Is that?
No, we'd have to give them assessments by April. We have till April 30th to try to get it down from there. And then, if we get it down to 10 or 5 or whatever, then, or lower, then they could still reject it, and that would push us into a June 30th thing with DESI.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's sort of in my head, it's sort of a 2-step. That's how I see that. That gives us the maximum flexibility, but we know full well, actually, if we,
April 30th?
what's that?
So without asking for more time, the budget is due April 30th.
Well, actually, they're gonna, whatever numbers we put forth tonight, they're probably gonna use that. So if we put an 18% or a 9% raise out there, those are the numbers they will calculate on very, very unhappily. And I would be pretty sure that they'd get voted down in all the towns. I just don't think that that's feasible for them. But we put a number forward, it then buys us a little bit of a clock to clarify and bring it down. And it's just a matter of what is
That clock going until April 30th.
till the April 30th clock, and then of course after that, then it's going to be town meetings, and they'll say yes or no, and that could throw us into a different scenario with needing special town meetings for a second budget vote. Towns are never happy to do that because town meetings cost money. So it would be better for us to figure out a number tonight and then try to commit to that reduction, and those would be the numbers. But I mean, we have 2 budget numbers before us tonight. One that gives maximum flexibility and one that has limited flexibility. But I think our target percentage increase would be below both of them.
Without question.
Without question, so I think that's kind of where we are. But in the meantime, we still have Art's motion on the floor.
So, should we take a vote?
I was going to say, if there's no other conversation on that, then we can do a roll call vote.
Read the motion?
Yes, absolutely. So Art made the motion that we bring together TMS, Open Architects, Beth, Brian, and finance, the school finance committee together. And Josh, oh yes, and Josh, by some date to be determined.
April 30th.
Did you say April 30th? Okay, originally April 30th, sorry. Does that clarify, Jim, or you need me to say it again?
No, that's great.
Okay, does anybody else need clarification on that? So if you're voting yes, then you're in favor of us logistically trying to schedule this, and if you vote no, then we won't move forward with that. Are we ready to vote? It appears that way. Okay. Bonnie?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Amy?
No.
Art,
Yes.
Jim,
No.
Carl,
Yeah.
Nancy,
I have to think.
No.
no. Miguel,
No.
okay. And at this point, Julie is a no. So we had 5 no's and 4 yeses. So we were very, very split on that. I do hope that we can, reach out where we need to, but at this point, logistically, we're not going to try to expend energy on that. Bonnie, then Amy.
I have a motion I'd like to put forward. I'll explain it if there is a second. My motion is,
Before you do that, Amy, did you have a comment on this?
No, I also have a motion.
Oh, okay, well, Bonnie?
my motion is that the school committee schedule a special meeting on the 26th of this month, and that prior to that, the finance committee meets on the 24th or 25th to bring forward a recommendation to the first school committee. And the purpose of this is to get all the missing pieces that have been identified in the past few days as missing filled in. And if there's a second, I'll speak to it.
Second.
Okay,
I speak to it.
okay.
Oh,
All right, Bonnie?
yes. The reason for this is my understanding that Josh has advised that it does not, according to our regional agreement, it does not have to be 45 days in advance. I am now speaking as one individual who has to vote on this, and I don't see how I could vote on it. I don't have exact numbers in a lot of areas. I think, Julie, you have done a phenomenal job in this past week and a half as a forensic accountant, going through everything and discovering new things constantly. I found new things that we needed. Kim, who has a real business background, has found numerous things. We're not equipped. I don't feel equipped to stand up there and say, I voted something without E&T being certified, with a bunch of empty areas, and additionally, I still don't see, though it's much better, the kind of breakdown on the full budget. I feel I'd be really irresponsible, unless somebody convinced me otherwise, to vote for this the way it is. I totally respect what TJ has been doing, but I feel very strongly I don't want our towns to hear either one of these options at this point. I think, given what is missing, we can do a great... I don't want teachers being nervous about this. I don't want our parents thinking that there is a major problem in terms of finance. This is not good as a message to be going out into the district, especially given what has been identified by open architects, by the people on this committee, and there was very bad timing. We had people out of town, we had over... I'm not blaming anybody, but I think if we know at this point, basically, everything that we need to have, I think, should make us whole. And I still want a recommendation the way we usually do from the finance committee to the full schooling committee. And that's my reason for proposing 2 dates. It changes nothing else in terms of town meetings, but it is, I think, much better in terms of our communities. And as an individual, I'd like to feel a lot more responsible in my vote.
Can I ask you a question, teacher?
Well, how about after Kim?
Okay, can I ask a clarifying question?
Yes.
You said that our regional agreement does not specify?
I was told that our regional agreement does not, now I didn't have time today. I was just told this yesterday, so that it does not have to be 45 days. I don't feel good making it any longer than next Thursday, which is because I feel with all that has been identified by finance committee members and others, and the things that Brian knows he's waiting for, and that TJ is now saying also, no matter what, he would make the outreach to Beth. I think we can find out a lot of what's missing, and we do not have to make people unnecessarily nervous or angry.
So I'd like to clarify, the regional agreement does say that the school committee shall forward the assessments, the budget within vote on a proposed budget in 45 days. What I was told by our council is that the agreement is silent on any action that the towns can take if we miss that 45-day deadline. So it does specify 45 days pretty clearly.
I didn't have a chance to look at that.
Yeah, I've looked at it a few times lately. But I'm just saying that, but I've talked to council about that. And, there's a double-edged sword. Do we vote a budget tonight that we're not feeling totally solid with? Or do we wait? Do you know?
My clarification
Yeah.
is, it's beyond not feeling totally.
Yeah, I
The
understand.
kinds of gaps and the things that people have been finding. And I want to make it totally clear, I do not think there is any malfeasance at all. Hope I am right. But I feel totally irresponsible, given what's been brought before me, to vote a yes on this budget when I think, given everything that we've heard and the way people have been working on this, I think we can take this where we want it to be by next week. It'll mean every day and weekend, whatever.
Yeah,
But I think, and I would defer here whether TJ feels that will fill in.
Yeah, I think that would be a question. Kim, did you have anything else, or you were
that's
just
what
asking about the 45 days?
No, I just wanted a clarification on that.
45 days, yeah. So I mean, I have concern. I'm not confident that our E&D will be certified in a week, for example. TJ, I'm not sure what 1 week will buy us. I mean, there'll be some. Certainly, a week's worth of work is a week's worth of work, but
We work close with the ENT, Madam Chair. We just need to reconnect with the just to make sure we're on the accurate information. All the information today is just
And what about the other things?
I need the section of my staff to make sure this prayer raise out is
And what about the other things that have been questions, making sure that everybody was moved correctly in terms of salary for 26, 27? We don't, as a school committee, have a lot of that data. We're trusting. And I guess I'm used to a much more detailed way of looking at all this, and that's why I don't feel comfortable with the missing parts. And that goes for everything from the teachers being moved and Unity being moved correctly, and that we have a better picture of revenue coming in, and that we don't have to go out to the communities in a scare mode. And that also means you're putting teachers, unfortunately, in a scare mode. I've seen how, a rumor can take over. And Michael Jordan is on this.
It's not on Thomas.
But that's where I am. And unless I could be reassured, that's where I stand. I think when we...
Could I? No.
okay. Yes, please.
So TJ, could you, even though Jen is not on the line, because I am confident in everything that Bonnie just articulated. Could you confirm that all teachers have been accurately and carefully moved in Unit A, and that all para-educators have been accurately and carefully moved in Unit D? Second question she asked, have all sources of revenue and offsets been exhausted to date, including places where you pointed out on Friday afternoon that there were 2 buckets assigned to the same offset? Could you please confirm for the school committee that you and your team of 3 have indeed scoured every portion of what's available to us currently?
Yeah, so you have all the information we have at this particular dates to you. Our best thinking.
Can you yell at your computer so everybody can hear you?
I'm yelling like a kid or saying in chickens. You have all the information you need. Our best thinking is snapshot time is what a budget is articulated. Time was not our friends, as we go, and we're trying to figure it all out. We have painstakingly got to every employee move them the steps in the ways that they're entitled to based upon their clinic finding, right? And that is where some of the issues are coming in. That is where that will be tremendously helpful in to understand some of those pieces of that. I am planning on reaching out to her this evening or to this morning and Connie to battle about one of the days. So I remind you that she has a little bit more data. So how many days she has left on the Berkshire contract. So I'll chat with her about that. Please. I'll do it off hours so she can do her day-to-day job, and I'll do it in the evenings. And but we've exhausted everything on that. The pieces that we need to finish up is the offsets that any fund the numbers they keep it.
Yeah, my understanding is
In positions that have been moved out to the general fund, or it's sure just a grant comes in between now and 8:30, it'd be flat issue vote. E&D gets strategic upside. Title 1, it will get to use inside 85% funding, it's 100% funding. Right? It's an iterative process. House Ways and Means can come back and just fundamentally change everything in there. Like House Ways and Means comes up the first picture too late. House Final comes out day 8. And they might say, we're not going to do a 17% cut to rate. And they say, we're going to give Butch up to then $45,000. I think that is why my comment is probably the most important thing that this committee and we and April 30th to advise us of fair the time to get to where we need to be. I do recognize, Bonnie, that this is an uncomfortable vote to be asking. I can't imagine anyone who feels comfortable even thinking about voting for a few unknowns. But this is the hand we were dealt, and we're trying to do the best with students.
Okay. Bonnie, excuse me.
I want to ask.
Is this a follow-up? Okay, stay on topic. I want to get to Carl.
Are you saying that having the extra week is not going to enable you to fill in these things that you've been finding to give us a better picture when we vote?
It won't fill in all of the gaps.
Well, not all.
But we are working feverishly to fill those all in. And I will commit to getting to Beth tomorrow and having a conversation with her, setting in time. Now, there's been a lot of conversation about private administration. I don't know if feelings to her, so it wasn't, but I will actually call her. She's a good friend of mine, and I definitely all does the gym.
Are you saying that my motion is not to give you what you need?
I say any more time I can get is what I want. So if we give me extra week, great. But it's tonight, tell me to give me a tag number, great.
So you would appreciate the time. It would be productive. That's what I'm wanting to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Because you're being put in a position where Brian wants one thing and I'm suggesting something else. Thanks.
I think we're all trying to get to the
That's
same
not-
place.
That's a
Yeah.
mischaracterization.
I think we're all trying to
We're
get
all
a
trying to get to the
reduced
same place.
assessment. Yeah, that's just how we do it. Carl, I see your hand.
Yeah, thank you, Julie. Two things, two actually procedural points. For purposes, one, for purposes of clarity of the minutes, Bonnie is talking about voting on the budget that she would feel completely irresponsible. And I don't think she meant she would feel irresponsible. I think she meant to say, she'll correct me if I'm wrong, completely incapable rather than irresponsible. But I could be wrong about that, but I don't feel irresponsible in her vote. And secondly, aren't we, well, how did we move away from considering Bonnie had the motion on the floor, which has been seconded, and I think that that discussion is moving away from what her motion is. Shouldn't we be well? Shouldn't we be voting on it, either up or down?
I would say yes. We're trying to get clarity, Carl, and decide if a 1 week window. I'm worried about coming back in 1 week and saying the exact same thing and being nowhere. I'm worried about that. So I think we're trying to discern whether the 1 week is valuable enough, or do we go with the uncertainty that is before us on another hand. Does
Right, but if I could respond to that, Julie, you would be concerned with that, and that will presumably direct your vote on the motion. But Bonnie has made a motion for a specific date to come back, and with the committee, the majority of the committee may agree or disagree with that. But why don't we find out by taking a vote?
Okay, we will do that after I take Kim's comment and perhaps a Bonnie follow-up. Yeah, and we'll see if there's others that wish to speak. Tim.
I understand that, he put data in and he's confident in numbers, but the problem is the school committee has no oversight or no information with those numbers, and that's our job. We need to see those reports. We're the ones that sat in negotiation and saw where people were on steps or how they move and stuff like that. They're coming in December, they're taking things out of payroll. We also made it very clear last year of what was acceptable for people to lose. That's one of the things I think we talked about in meetings.
I just, in one moment, I think this year we've only approved maybe 3, possibly 4 lateral moves.
Right.
So everything is longevity for everybody else.
Right. But what are they projecting for next year? Because that's what's the budget number. You're telling us that we have 12 million, or not 12 million, $1.2 million more in payroll going into next year. Or I was trying to look at the numbers, but I mean, are we moving correctly? It's just all a question. We can tell from where they were on 95 or
25,
where they are in 26 and where they're going in 27. It's just part of oversight. We have a new company. We have 3 people who've never done budgets before. They're just
Perhaps
asking
under
for-
Massachusetts regulations,
But-
to say folks have never done budgets
No,
is
not
really
you.
not
You're
fair.
not in that one. You're not in that bucket. I'm just saying, or under Massachusetts regulations or whatever. So oversight, when you have such a discrepancy from starting to end, it's our due diligence to do that.
I can agree it is, but I'm not sure I'm going to tie the hands of budget. But the committee will decide that. Okay. Are we ready to vote on Bonnie's motion? Oh, TJ wanted to say something else. Thank you. Oh, I see your hand. It's in the shadow, TJ.
I'm sorry, but I just wanted to make sure that I just communicated with Bev. She is committed to be with me very short order to go through the numbers that we have to go through. I first time process for fiscal 25 spent. So I just texted her about the days that remaining her contract was on Berkshire. I said, I'd love to sit down and just read this ready. So I'm planning on doing that, and I told her to take after hours, and she is.
Okay, great, thank you. Jim? Did you have another comment, Jim?
Well, go.
You're fine, okay. Does anybody else have comments? Oh, Amy?
Yeah, I'm just going to be a broken record here and say that if this hasn't been accomplished already in how many months, what is 1 week going to do? We have a responsibility to our towns. We're pushing this off to meet again. We've already pushed this meeting here tonight off also.
Yeah.
So now this will be the second time that we would push this specific meeting off. I think we just need to really think realistically.
But clarifying.
I'm just checking Bonnie.
I think, with all due respect, I think thinking realistically, TJ has just made a major moves by being able to get answers to what we haven't had. And he said he appreciates the time. I'm not going to speak how whatever happened over the months. We've had, as Brian pointed out in introducing the budget, we had an enormous number of changes over this period of time. And we're obviously coming from different sides. I believe that I always feel the better armed you are, the more likely you are to succeed. And it seems what I've heard is over the past week to 2 weeks, things have been clearly identified that need to be filled in, and that we can get a lot of it. And especially now that you will meet with Beth, I think we'll be able to make a kind of movement that will enable us to be a lot more responsible than what we turn to our tenants. And to our staff. And we saved this district, I go back to my broken record, for a reason. We believe it is superior educational environment. I will never say that I can do anything when it comes to accounting or any of that, but I respect what's presented, and if I have the details, I feel that I can stand up in Sheffield and speak to people in Sheffield and elsewhere that this is why our budget is this is what we have to cut, this is why we have to make this assessment.
That's it, right?
Okay, thank you, Bonnie. Nancy?
I wonder though, Bonnie, maybe I'm not sure if any of you guys can answer this question, but how does rating a week affect town FIGMA?
Town what?
The 45 minute.
You're saying how does 1 week affect our town finance committees?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Is they're trying to put their numbers together?
We just,
I don't know the answer to that.
I think Monterey said by the 15th they really needed numbers.
Yeah, I talked to 3 different towns today, and 2 were like, yeah, we could take a week, and the other one was like, no, we want a number. So, we did not, have something from all 5, Kim.
That's what he said when he was here last time.
Oh, by the 15th.
and Monterey is the first of the towns.
Yeah, that's true.
That's because they have to have it on their warrant.
Of course, they have to have it on their warrant, but for their budget planning, though, that's what the other towns were more concerned about. Their planning, will they have to adjust?
Is there anyone here?
And I think we heard from people like Kilmer and others, give us a realistic number. If we have to be handing Sheffield I don't get any town that faces overrides, etc., I won't repeat. You know where I stand.
Yeah, we know where we,
So it's just a question. It wasn't
yeah.
We can do it. They can write us nasty letters. They can say whatever. We will present, if we pass this, hopefully we will present to the towns under a chair why the school committee took this action.
So basically, we get our hands slapped, but gives us hard time.
Yeah. So, TJ, I have a question for you. I'm just wondering, we got the governor's budget. When is the House supposed to have their budget done? Is it,
They come out, House Ways and Means comes out first or second week of April.
okay,
Usually have the vote, House fight by, so before vacation.
all right. So even if we wait a week, though, we still wouldn't have any move. We wouldn't have any indication from the House. I mean, that's the only thing is, you know, maybe the E&D will be done and we will have sorted grants. We won't have big changes for Chapter 70 or Rural Aid or anything like that.
Agreed. I think
Okay.
that's the case. Just depend on us. I do think the leadership one, as tough as it may be, will involve it comes through me. It's but one that gives us national flexibility. There's
Okay. Well, thank you for that recommendation.
And then we could all fight for the rural aid.
We can fight for rural aid. We can fight for regional transportation. We can fight for a lot of things.
lobby your legislators.
Absolutely.
Just like Jared. You know, who's ladies, let's take people from.
Nancy and I can go back into rural aid committee mode.
Yeah. So I wonder, Bonnie, if we were to consider a number tonight, but then have the caveat that we would do an update in 1 week. I mean, I know that that's sort of upending your motion since you want to postpone the vote for a week. But I am thinking there is that option because we don't have another meeting scheduled till April 9th. We absolutely have to be before that.
That's why I suggest I knew I was.
You know, I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't necessarily, I hadn't really picked that date, but we could pick that
I
date.
just, given hearing what the town said to us in the open hearing, given the fact of what TJ believes he can accomplish, we will still have holes, but we will have more of the charts in our hands with information that we don't have. So I just feel that it's like instead of going in to the meeting with a pop gun, I don't want to say we're going in with it.
Yeah, let's not say that, Bonnie.
Let's do, instead of going in with Pop-Tart, we're coming in with a 7-layer, or at least 3-layer cake.
Okay, so let me just make sure I've kind of captured your motion properly, that you've moved that we want to postpone our budget adoption vote for 1 week to March 26th.
No, that's more
To
than-
March 20
today's Tuesday.
Oh, today's, oh, yeah, right. Okay, sorry, yes. We always meet on Thursdays. I was in
Right.
Thursday head, sorry.
So the
So
26th.
9 days, so it'd be to March 26th, and you would want finance to meet
Finance
a day or two before that?
and give the full school committee a recommendation,
Okay.
I can't even.
as
Yeah.
they usually do.
Yeah. Well, we didn't last year. We haven't for a couple of years done
Well,
that, actually. I know what we're supposed to do. I just know what we haven't done.
Well,
So,
our motion covers
and it
what we're
really,
supposed to do.
and actually though, finance committees don't have to do that. I actually learned that in a webinar. They don't have to do that, but we
But that's
usually do.
in My motion.
I digress. That is your motion. All right, are people clear on that motion?
Yes.
All right, is there any other comment? Jim?
Could you read the actual motion?
Oh, I'll try. Or Michelle, do you have it captured?
I
You
do.
want me to
Oh.
read it?
So the motion would be to reconvene, to postpone tonight's budget adoption, reconvene the finance committee on Tuesday, March 24th, and have them make,
Or
Or
25th.
25th?
or 25th,
Yep.
to have them make a recommendation that night, and then have the adoption on March 26th to the full school committee.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's about what I got in my notes too. Okay, Jim, is that clear now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Are we ready to vote? Well, let's start on Zoom screen for this one. Miguel?
that he said, see?
Catch off guard. Let's see there. Whoops. I'll start on the other end of my screen. Jim?
Yes.
Nancy?
It's a wreck.
What?
I'm sorry,
She said come back to her.
oh, yeah, okay. Miguel, are you ready?
His Zoom is frozen. He can still hear. He says yes.
Oh, he said yes?
We have to-
I think
we
we
have to hear
need
him.
to hear
Yes.
him.
Can he put on his photo so he can give like a thumbs up or something?
Oh, yeah, can you show your video and just do a thumbs up, Miguel?
So after this,
He's up.
Maybe not if his Zoom is frozen.
Post it in the chat.
Oh, can you chat, Miguel? Can you chat, yes, so we have that record?
Or send us an email.
He has to quit and come back on.
All right, he's gonna quit and okay. Carl, how about you?
No.
No. Bonnie?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Amy?
No.
Art?
Yes.
Okay. Is Miguel anywhere?
Nancy.
Oh, and Nancy, yeah. That's a yes.
I'm gonna go, well,
You're gonna
You're gonna vote
vote?
what?
no,
No. Nancy's voting no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3,
So you and Miguel.
5, 6.
Can Miguel dial in with the audio? Like, could he dial in from his phone? Like, there's a phone number. And dial in to the desk.
we get that.
That's restart. I'm just it.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, though. Each round, they just me at the pace of. So it's 1, 2, 3. This
And it's kind of phone.
Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe you can get him on the phone and we can do it that way.
Let's stop.
All we know is that you have to be first then.
Who did he say yes to you, Amy?
To Amy's text, but I don't really feel that that's the correct record.
Correct.
He asked the
He said his computer is restarting. And then he said what number here? But the number would be on the Zoom, which is on the computer, which is restarting.
keep paying that. This whole track.
Hey, hi, Miguel. Can you please announce your vote on this motion here?
Yes. Yes. It was my.
Okay.
Your vote was yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And we have him on the screen.
Right, we've got him here.
Yeah. Okay, so
Okay.
we've got him.
And you're
there.
restarting your computer?
Like that's your best, but yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. And my vote is yes in terms of it's a passed motion that we will do that. So I'll give unanimity. I can never say that word.
Unanimity?
Yeah, unanimity, whatever. I always do it wrong. Anyway,
Thank you.
yes. So, all right. So, in that spirit, then, we will postpone our budget adoption until March 26th. We can notify the towns. Some of the town folks are already there. They're hearing us. I can see New Marlboro and Monterey, and I know Sheffield was there, but we can get a word out to them that we've postponed 1 week. And no matter what, we will absolutely vote on next week, and we will, try to finish our work, answer our questions, fill in some gaps, and all of that. And I really appreciate the deliberation and the respect that we had tonight. I appreciate it very, very much. So from that,
Since we have no,
How soon can you schedule a finance committee meeting so people can know whether it's like Tuesday or Wednesday?
well, let's see. We have some.
Make it as far as possible, like the Wednesday, because TJ's going to have to get us reports. He's going to have to fill in the blanks.
Yeah, okay, well, let's talk about that schedule right now. We have some, Nancy, are you available next Wednesday, the 25th, even via Zoom?
Varsity.
Yes, okay, and then so I would be, and you guys would be, and
What time are we talking?
5:30.
5:30, yeah. Is that right? Yeah, not at like 10 o'clock, when we won't do that. Again,
So the
I-
25th
the
at
20
5:30.
the 25th, we will do finance, and then we will do Thursday. Do you want to do 5:30 or 6? Because we will not have a full meeting. There might be a couple things, and
I'm flexible.
this is 5:30 okay for next Thursday, the 26th? Is that okay with folks on Zoom? The 25th at 5:30?
26.
26, sorry.
25th,
I can't do 26.
You can't do the 26th, I'm sorry. All right. Okay. All right, then we'll do 5:30 for both of those next week.
That was it.
All right,
And I really appreciate, as I want to second what you said, we try to put discussion.
yes, it was a very good discussion, absolutely, appreciate that.
And I'm going to add another thing. What the amount of work that you have put in over this?
Well, we're not done.
No, I know we're not. And I have to thank him as well, who explains this accounting idiot a lot of things.
All right, thank you, Bonnie. All right, we'll move on. So we skipped over academic calendar, and there's no unfinished business.
Sure.
Well, there kind of is, but
Well,
we'll
yeah,
get
right, that's sort of an understatement. Yeah,
Right.
we have all kinds of unfinished business, but it's not beyond the scope of what we've just discussed. We swapped, I don't believe any of the subcommittees met between last week and this week. So any, yeah, good point. That's true. Yeah, good point. Yes, we did. I don't know if there's anything else, though, subcommittee-wise. Otherwise, we just talked about everything last week.
Yes.
Nancy, you have a hand up.
I just need to, because I've been so preoccupied, I've been preoccupied, so I haven't had a chance to send out a follow-up email regarding the adding to the newsletter. And I heard from one person that said they are available next week, so if anybody has time, whether it'll be with new meetings.
Okay, very good. But I know the other folks haven't met, so there's probably nothing else. We can move to, Bonnie, do you have something on personnel and negotiations?
No, this is on curriculum. Sarah and I are putting together an agenda. If you, Amy, Nancy have anything, I will copy you on what we've discussed
Okay.
so far. And we've also scheduled most of Thursday for the minutes for personnel and negotiations.
Next Thursday or this
Next
Thursday? As in like 2 days?
Like next Thursday, like the day we're meeting
Oh,
on your budget.
okay, very good. All right. So another time we'll put curriculum on this list because
Yeah,
we haven't.
we'll have a date.
After they've met, then we'll get that on. So we can move on to public comment. Do we have any public comment? Please come to the mic.
Listen. Hi, Lori Kamen, Sanesville. I'm to talk about how frustrated I am with this whole process. I'm going to say that I'm really disappointed because I watched the budget process last year with Beth and the former leadership of the Finance Committee. I have emails that I have sent to both of them that had to do with salaries that were incorrect. For example, one of them was Tracy Weston, who was listed twice. I sent the email to Art, to Beth, never got a response. And with all due respect, Bonnie, Kim can own a business, but that's not the same thing as doing a municipal or government budget or having a degree in that, which I do, for 35 years. Kim has 3 employees. This school district has far more than that. Having said that, this is not Brian Ricka's budget. This is the former Finance Committee and the former superintendent and the former business manager's budget. And I could have guessed that this nonsense was going to happen when the night the superintendent vote took place, and it was 7-2. Because There were 2 members of this committee that were biased who went out before the search even started saying that they were not going to vote for Brian and gave specific reasons. I would love to see this school committee move forward. When the vote was taken that night, Carl Stewart had a very great comment. And although he didn't agree with the process for the search committee, he mentioned unity and the school committee moving forward in unity. I've watched some of these meetings, and in my own personal opinion, I think there are 2 members of the former finance committee and leadership here that have unduly harassed Brian Ricca. I personally, as a budget person, I think this is great. It sure as hell is better than what was presented last year. Maybe you want more detail, then get more detail. But you have less information. And I will tell you, going through it quickly, yeah, there were, the salaries from 26 were wrong. You got to make up for it in 27. There are things in perhaps drama you could cut. I could go through this whole thing, but that would take off my 3 minutes. So, having said what Carl Stewart said about working together in unity and seeing how well Julie has chaired this so far in the mess that she's inherited, as well as Dr. Ricca, if the former chair and vice chair really feel that they can't work with the superintendent, do everyone a favor and resign. Thank you.
Is there other public comment?
Tell us.
Amy Murray, 95 Salisbury Road. I wanted to briefly speak that I am actually a product of a one-room schoolhouse. It was in Ashley Falls that Carl did not mention. And if you look at the budgets, closing the one-room schoolhouse is not going to balance next year's budget. I think even suspending it, that has to go back to the towns. There's a reason why there might only be 9 open, and no, I have not attended or sent any of my children to that. But I don't think that's really what we're looking at in terms of balancing the budget. I will say I'm extremely disappointed to hear the calls to get back into a room and the fact that everyone seems excited that now conversations are going to happen with our former superintendent to get answers. To my knowledge, you paid her many days already a stipend to do just that. So if there's no accountability of the work that was done, that was the whole point. You were asked by a colleague of mine this fall to outline exactly what she was going to get paid for when we agreed to pay her a stipend. And now we're sitting here saying that we need another day and we extended this vote a week because we don't have the answers. She was paid an amount to be able to help with this transition. Yes, we switched companies. Yes, our former business administrator is not here. Yes, we inherited a budget. Supposedly, she put money in. Well, clearly, if you look at the salaries of the line by line, which I also appreciate having in my hands, there is a huge difference in one of them in the UME from what was actual in 25 and what was projected in 26. So because to protect strategies, it wasn't put in the right place, well, it's a tenfold increase from 73,000 to over 700,000. Are the raises sitting in that line item? I believe that if our former superintendent was paid an outrageous stipend when I can't even get a pencil sharpener from my classroom, that before we get to March 17th, and I'm on my second meeting of the day for this issue and teaching in between, that information should have been conveyed to our current leadership, our current company that is doing our budget, and this group is the oversight as to what she did. I would be asking what work was done, because you paid her for it, and now we're saying that there's no answers. Well, then what was she paid for? That was the whole point of you agreeing. And Victoria stood in front of you this fall asking specifically before you okayed it and rubber stamped yet another payment, what was the specific work that we were asking her to do when she came back this year? So to say that we're going to continue to pay when we're in a budget crisis and we haven't gotten the answers to date and now she's putting off the process, I'm confused as a townsperson and as a staff person. I just don't understand. But hopefully, in a week when I return, things will become crystal clear. Thank you.
Is there other public comment? Sarah?
Hello, Sarah Sickett. I'm a Sheffield resident, a parent, a graduate, a staff member.
Basically, we came with the building. I don't need a graphing calculator to do the math. $827.70 a day times 30 days is $24,831. That's more than what some of our paraprofessionals make in our district in an entire school year. Think about that. They work an entire school year to make about $24,000. That's the amount that we paid our outgoing superintendent since July 1st for those additional 30 days. That is an incredible amount of money. The emperor is naked. Somebody needs to say it. We've been saying it since last year. It is irresponsible, in my opinion, to enter in a year where you have budget negotiations and to not budget for an appropriate increase, knowing what your negotiations are and where you're headed. I said last year when we went into budget season, we are in trouble. This number is not realistic. Other towns said it too. Egremont said it, and they were told they can work within the numbers. I'm really confused this evening when people are asking for more for more details and saying we had them in the past. We didn't. To my knowledge, we have not had a line item budget since the second year of our previous superintendent. I still have my binder from Dave Hastings with all of my foldouts and my printouts. I saved them in my budget folder. I can show you examples. We have not had them. We got pots of money. Our budget overview going back to 2024, the last oldest one that's posted online, is 19 pages. You can look up Berkshire Hills, and each one is over 400 pages, including a line item budget. Ours simply gives an overview, and no line item is posted. So when people keep telling me that they had more information last year, I don't know where that's coming from. That's false. In my opinion, we did not get that line item. I know Victoria asked for it in the fall of this year. I know that we're in a mess right now, and it's not going to be fixed in a week. We get it. And we know we've talked about responsibility moving forward. But it's really important moving forward that we understand there has been problems. We need an audit. We need someone who's here, the same person consistently, to do our finances within the building. So we're not passing blame from group to group to group. I can't even keep the initials straight. We know what needs to be done. And I'm hoping we can get there quickly so that we stop blaming teachers who just got we're not even up to par with the rest of the county right now. And I'm really irritated that it keeps coming back to us, fighting for a cost of living. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Who's up there?
I see Lee. Lee, normally we do not take public comment via Zoom. We do have that policy, so would you kindly give me a call? Because I'd love to hear what's on your mind, but with our policy right now, I can't accept your comment. Any other comments here? Okay. Hearing none, future agenda items, we have a couple there. Does anybody have anything new? I think we have new business. All right, we do not have executive session. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Roll call vote. Bonnie?
Yes.
Kim? Yes. Amy?
Yes.
Art?
Yep.
Nancy? Yes. Carl?
Yeah.
Miguel?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
And Julie, yes, we are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming tonight.